Hey, what's up, Ovi Tribe? Thanks for joining me on the channel today. Today we're gonna be covering something super important. Something that I've spent years dialing in and figuring out for myself. It's the biggest mistake I've ever made, and it's something that you are definitely gonna wanna hear. So if you wanna know what this changes that I did to my backpacking food, stay tuned. But before we dive into that, if you're new to this channel, we're Outdoor Vitals. We're an ultralight backpacking gear company. We love what we do. I love what I do, but we're super excited to be here on video too, on YouTube, to be able to share with you tips and tricks and different things that are gonna help you get out on the trail more comfortably, more confidently. Hopefully both of those are gonna lead to just more frequently. If you're interested in that, make sure you subscribe to this channel, make sure you click the bell notification. Now let's dive right in. So before I explain to you what my biggest tip is for backpacking food, we do need to cover one thing. I'm sure all of you guys have seen one of these. It's a nice, noisy Cliff Bar. The first thing I wanted to just touch on with this is talking about calories per ounce. On the back of every package, you're gonna see that most items say grams, like 68 grams is what this one says. Just as a quick rule of thumb, this isn't actually exactly accurate. It's about 28 grams. So rule of thumb, estimate that 30 grams equals 1 ounce. So this one says that it is 68 grams, 250 calories. If we divide that in half, that's what, 34 grams. And we divide the calories in half, that's 125. So this is less than 125 calories per ounce. I think I did that right. So this is less than 125 calories per ounce, which is not that impressive, but you need to be able to understand that in order for the next parts of this to make sense. So I'm sure tons of you have heard from other people, oh, get really high caloric food, get really high calorie per ounce food, such as something like almond butter. Almond butter is something that is super calorie per ounce efficient, and it's 190 calories. So let's just estimate this is 180 calories per ounce. That's extreme. We just looked at this Cliff Bar and it's under 125. So obviously these seem like the best choice to take backpacking. So take a ton of these, right? Get a ton of trail mix and almond butter and nuts and cashews, and it's gonna be phenomenal and you're gonna feel great when you get to the top. It's not been the case. I can't tell you how many times that I am halfway up the mountain and I'm feeling like garbage. And so I have learned something over my time in the field that I think everyone should know. So what I think everyone should understand is they need to understand a little bit about themselves. For me, I kind of have broken this down because sometimes I'll do a little bit of like intermittent fasting. What I'll do is I'll eat my dinner and then I won't eat the rest of the night. I won't eat breakfast. I'll go to the gym and then I'll try not to eat till lunch. And when I do that, it changes my body. I need to say right here, I guess, I probably should have said this at the beginning, but I am not a healthcare professional. I'm not a dietitian. I really shouldn't be speaking about this, but if you want to listen, you can continue to listen. Anyways, what I have seen is that when I do stuff like that, it's almost easier for my body to start burning the fat or go into ketosis or whatever you want to call it. There's times when I'm doing very good at that. There's other times when I'm eating more frequently. Maybe I'm snacking. My body is used to having continual calories in my system to burn for energy. What I've seen is then as I go out on the trail coming from these different spots, I have to tailor my diet. You see, earlier this summer, we went out on a backpacking trip, and on this backpacking trip, we were climbing, I think it was about 3,500 feet in elevation in a single day, actually in a few hours. It was just a lot of elevation. And I was feeling great. We start up the trail, I'm kicking butt, doing great. Well, we get up to about 3,200, maybe 3,300 feet of the elevation climb. We were so close to the top. And I hit a wall. And I mean, I hit a wall. Like, I felt like crap. Head started hurting. I had no energy. My feet just felt like they were stopping working. I just knew something was wrong. So I stopped for a second and I pulled out some food. I think it was some of these. I pulled out some fruit snacks and I pulled out some other quick sugars. I sat there for about 10 minutes and I ate those. And I felt like $1,000,000 and I kept going. Got to the top. We stopped when we had lunch. I got time to rejuvenate and take some more food in, and I felt good. I hiked the rest of the day. We hiked like 10 more miles that day, and I felt great. But in that moment, when I hit that wall, it was so significant, I felt like I could not go on. What it was is I had not been training my body to burn fats. So if your body is not trained to burn fats, you shouldn't be taking only fats on a trip, or you shouldn't be skipping, going eating this meal and then nothing and then this meal and then nothing and then this meal. You need to be very aware of how frequently you should be eating and what type of calories you should be eating. All right, so I've grabbed a couple food items and I've put them into 3 categories right here. Number 1, I've got over here basically sugars. I've got dried apples right here. I've got gummies, essentially, fruit snacks. Those are like the sugar category to me. Now, these quick sugars are gonna be something you can put in your system. It's gonna digest super fast and turn into energy really, really quick. In the middle here, I've got the more common thing, which is gonna be something more like some proteins, but a lot of carbohydrates, fibers, and a little bit of proteins. Now, some middle stuff to me is kind of the filler. It's the more neutral. It's carbohydrates, which is still gonna be really quick to burn and turn into sugars in your body, but hopefully, depending on what you're getting, it can be a longer lasting calorie in your system. It's gonna keep you going longer. So for me, I like to have these for lunches and main meals, and that helps me keep going. On this side over here, I've got what I would consider like the high fat, high protein type items. Specifically though, the higher fat concentrate is usually what's gonna get you here, such as in this almond butter. Now, all of these things to me serve a purpose. I've gone out on the trail and I've tried to eat a couple cups of trail mix or a couple cups of nuts, and I finish about 1 cup of it and I am just toast. Like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I just can't consume anymore. If I'm eating just this stuff, I run out of energy sometimes. And also, this is again depending on what I've been doing recently with my diet. So what I have personally learned with all of this is I need things out of each section and I use them accordingly. So let's say it's nuts and things like this. I'll usually eat these at mealtime and give them a little bit more time to digest. Once those digest, I'm gonna feel pretty good on the trail with those. Now, if I was to go out on the trail and I didn't have any of these, and I only had these 2 sections right here of high fats and high carbohydrates, sometimes I will hit a wall and I need something. I'll have to stop and take in a Cliff Bar and let that digest a little bit to get some more calories going. It's really good to have something like dried fruit on the trail, in my opinion, because anytime you do start to hit a wall, if you start to feel that, you can quickly recover with sugars. But typically, what's just really, really important is to know for you personally, what have you been doing? Are you snacking between meals? I'm not judging you. I snack between meals all the time. I love food, if you can't tell. But it's important that you just evaluate what you're doing with your diet at any given point in time. So if you've been snacking between meals, if you've not been skipping any meals hardly ever, you need to make sure you don't go hit the trail with nothing but cashews and almond butter. You're gonna feel like crap. So don't do this. Instead, bring a balanced outlay. Make sure that you're packing things for snacks on the trail, things that can break down really quickly in your system. Now, I'm not saying you can't bring these. I'm just saying don't only bring these. All right, so none of this is probably what you're thinking about when you're thinking about backpacking food. You were probably thinking more freeze-dried meals. So let's talk about that for just a second. Freeze-dried meals are also something that's really important. And again, with such limited time that we get to get outside, it's important to test some of this stuff beforehand. Now, ourselves, we actually have mountain houses in the office, and we have these, which are peak refuel meals in the office. Eat both of them. I mean, buy some of both of them, eat them at your house and see how they make you feel and see if you think that you can handle one or the other on the trail. For me, this year, I have been going all in on peak refuel. They use a lot less fillers in this, and so it actually takes a lot less water to hydrate them. But you'll also see right here, it's got 53 grams of protein. They're just a very, like, I finished the meal and I just feel good instead of kind of have my stomach churning and stuff. And that's just for me personally. Lots of other people respond differently to the other meals out on the market. But for me, I've done really well with this because they just use a lot less fillers. And again, the 2 side effects of that is 1, you don't have to use as much water to rehydrate them. And 2, I feel better. They definitely focus on things like trying to get more protein in there to rebuild those muscles on the trail and other things like that. So if you like these, you can go click the link. I think it's gonna be right up in here. Go click the link, check out these, see all the different flavors. They've got a ton of different flavors. And if you are a member, remember you get 10% off of these and $1, I believe, per packet rebate. So if that's something that's interesting to you, sign up for the membership. And if you sign up this month, you're gonna get a free bonus. Anyways, these are money, and these are typically what I'm gonna bring once a day. I'll eat one of these a day as a main course meal. A lot of times I've been switching it to lunch because I'll eat dinner too late, and I don't like eating dinner so late. And then I'll use things like a variety, essentially, of all of these. One of each of these categories I'll have for another meal during the day. Anyways. All right, I hope that really helps you. I hope that you don't listen to some of these people that are gonna tell you exactly how to build your diet, because guess what? For you, that diet may or may not work. So test your stuff, recognize where you are at with your diet, and try to mimic that on the trail, because if you go out on the trail and you are not following the same diet that your body's used to, you're just not gonna feel good, especially if you're climbing a peak or doing some extreme physical exertion. Anyways, I hope that's super informative for you. If you have any questions, make sure to comment down below. We will respond to those comments. Give us a thumbs up on this video if you like it, and we'll catch you on the next one.